Jade does a lot of like weird things, but I think the rolling around on her back making weird doggy noises is probably my favorite. Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name's Meredith E. Phillips. It is the weekend. It is the weekend. It's Friday afternoon. I just got off work a little while ago. And we're going to do some work this weekend because we are in the final stretches of this draft 2. In case you missed the ridiculously long vlogs I posted last week, and I did say vlogs plural, there were 2 of them. I'll link them below, but they're pretty lengthy. I know some people love those like super chonky vlogs, and other people probably look at it and they're like, listen, absolutely not. So that's fair. Long story short, I finished basically revising Act 3 on this past Sunday, the 23rd or whatever it was. And by basically revised, I mean I had revised the chapters so that new things were in place, old things were deleted, the pieces were there, they just weren't really linked very well. It was very clunky, it wasn't very smooth. If I had sent them to someone to read, I would have been a little embarrassed. They still needed a little bit of work for me to feel like, okay, if I sent this to a critique partner, like, I wouldn't be cringing the entire time. So I spent Monday through Thursday this week just going back through Act 3 completely, fiddling with the prose, just doing like little things. I don't feel like I added anything super major. It was more just connecting ideas to make the scenes flow the right way. But I did finish that yesterday. I feel at least like decently satisfied with it. So we're gonna leave that. And then this morning I dove in. I got into Act 4. I do work with a 4-act structure, so this is the final act. I think it has about 10 chapters, which does include an epilogue. This act, I think, needs the most work of any of the previous 3 acts. So, we've got 2 brand new scenes to write. I have a scene I need to delete, and then there's a lot of like fixing character motivations. There's a lot of fiddling with stuff in terms of like which characters knew what information and when, and so some of their reactions and things like that don't make sense anymore. So there's a lot of work to do in these final 10-ish chapters, but we're gonna start it and see how long it takes us to get through. I do have an extra long weekend next weekend because July 4th is Thursday, and you can bet whatever you want that most federal government employees are not going to be in the office on Friday the 5th. Yeah, they're going to take the long weekend. And so that's what I did too. I don't work for the feds, but I sell to them. And so like nobody's going to be in the office. So I was like, let me just stay home. Even more so than I already do because I work from home. Anyway, so I have a long weekend coming up. It would be awesome if I could finish this 4th act revision and all of draft 2 revisions by the end of next weekend. But you know what? We'll get to that next weekend. This weekend, what is the plan? The plan is to just keep chugging along. Keep revising these dang chapters. But we are getting close to the end of Act 2. And by Act 2, I mean draft 2. I am really tired. You saw that we got up a little early this morning, so that was not Jade's fault. It was actually my fault. I woke up at like 3. I looked at my phone at 3:27, and then I lay there for like another 40 or 45 minutes, and I was like, nope, not gonna happen, so I just got up. Anyway, Jade has been sleeping through the night, though. I know! We got like multiple nights in a row of like the cold night we were sleeping. Haven't done that since January, so that's been fun. I've rambled quite a bit at this point. I'm really tired. My boss called me this afternoon at like 3:30. Who's doing work at 3:30 on a Friday? I mean, not me usually, but my boss called and was like, let me give you this spreadsheet project. I was like, sir, I've been awake since 3:30 this morning. But yeah, so I was messing with that and I'm just like fried. So I don't know if I'm going to get back to the office to do any more writing work today, but I do plan to see you there bright and early on Saturday morning. So I'll see you then. So, absolutely terrible news. I did the thing that you should never do yesterday. I updated the software on my computer, which is terrible because it always does something where you're like, why would it do this? It took away my desert dune background. It is no longer an option in the newest version of Mac OS, whatever it is. I am left with this cartoon rendering of a desert that changes colors throughout the day. I dislike it. I just want that noted because I know the desert background was like a staple in my videos. And now you're going to be stuck looking at this in the background. I'm pissed. I agree. It is less good. But this is what we're stuck with. Maybe I can go online and like download the other one somewhere. I don't know, but like that's also a lot of work. So we're going to leave it with this unless someone else knows how I can get the old one back. So it is Saturday. We're going to get to work. It is just after 9, which is good timing for me in terms of like getting myself ready and being ready to work. So I had started Act 4, chapter whatever it is, the first chapter in Act 4. I'd started that yesterday, but I didn't get very far into it. I need to like review it again because I was up very early and doing stuff in hours that nobody should have to look at. And I really don't remember how far I got, what I was doing. I don't think I got very far. Let's pull that back up. I kind of want to do almost like an overview of Act 4. I feel like I did that yesterday, but again, it was so early. I don't remember what all I looked at. So let me get all my documents pulled up over here and figure out what all needs to be done because I've got a lot of work to do in this act. All right, so yeah, this first chapter in Act 4 needs a lot of work. Yeah, a large portion of this needs to change. I also left a note for myself to look up a specific piece of information, which is, again, very unnecessary, but it will make me feel very cool if it is accurate. It's not a super long scene. At the moment, it's only about 1,500 words. I'm sure I will be able to pad that out a little bit more. Yeah, I guess let's just start. I'm going to start by looking up the piece of information that I do not need to include because that sounds both fun and relatively quick. So let's do that first. So one of the cool things that the Royal Academy has online is all of the catalogs from previous exhibitions, and the catalogs would have like the name of the art piece that was being displayed and the name of the artist. Also, the early catalogs had the addresses of where all the artists lived, so you could go harass them, I suppose. But yeah, you can look it up. It's the whole catalog just online and available for your perusal. I have to mention a random artist, and I'm going to pick a name that was actually in the exhibition in 1811. This is so unnecessary, but I'm just like, ooh, it'll be fun. I'm going to pick someone like not super famous. Like some of these people are like legit famous artists that we would know, or I guess if you were in the art field, you would know them. It'll be quick. It'll just be a quick little thing. I took 20 minutes to find the perfect person. This so doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But I found a guy who first exhibited at the 1811 exhibition, so that's fun. It's John Philip Davis, in case you're interested. Here's a really nice portrait of him. He's looking very regal, so I guess that's who we're using. All right, now that we've spent an honestly ridiculous amount of time on that, let's go back to the beginning of the scene and actually revise the stuff that matters. How about that? All right, I finished chapter 29, so that's good. I'm going to check it off my list. That'll be exciting. I am going to go get something to eat. I had a little bit of breakfast like you saw, but I'm just like hungry. We're still hungry. It's 10:34. I do have the final Q&A, the live Q&A for the class I'm taking, the online class I'm taking. That's at 11. So I'm going to grab something to eat. I'm going to look over chapter 30 and kind of decide like what all needs to be done in there. I don't know if I'll have time to like actually start doing anything with it, but I can at least look it over and be thinking about it before this Q&A starts. Delicious. It's what I like to call poor man's guacamole. It's when you want guacamole, but all you have are the avocados and the seasonings. And so you just make mashed avocado with the seasonings. I don't have any like tomato or onion or jalapenos. It's still good. It's still good. I usually like using Alton Brown's guacamole recipe, which I will link below because it's delicious. But yeah, anyway, it is almost time for this live, so I'm going to tune in for that, and we'll be back to revisions in a little bit. There she is, sleeping soundly. All right, so I'm going to move ahead into chapter 30 now. We've had our little class break. I took the dogs out. We're ready to continue on with this. So this chapter is sort of like the Dark Night of the Soul chapter. Everything's miserable. Nobody's happy. Nobody's figured out yet like how to fix things. So they're just like wallowing in their misery. We love it. And then I think the scene after this, the chapter after this, is the one I need to cut almost completely. I mean, I'll read through it and see if there's anything I can pull out. But for the most part, it's just a big old delete. So that's fun. I think I only have then eight chapters, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 8 chapters to go, including this chapter 30, not including the one to delete, including the 2 new scenes, and including the epilogue. Was that confusing enough for you? There's 8 chapters to go. I'm really hoping I can be done with this by the end of next weekend. I feel like that's a attainable goal, especially since I'm going to have those 2 extra days off. I'm excited. I'm excited, honestly. Okay, so draft 2 is me going in with my brain and making the changes that I think need to be made, right? It's a lot of work. But draft 3 is like, I remember last year being like, oh my gosh, I have to revise it again. But draft 3 is where I take the critique partner feedback and start implementing the stuff that I want to implement from their feedback, right? And that is so much easier because they've given me the directions. They've already said, hey, this didn't work. And I'm like, you're right, it doesn't. And then I just fix it. And it's like I just have to follow directions for draft 3, which is so nice after the struggle that is draft 2. So I'm looking forward to that. That's the reward. Draft 3 is the reward for finishing draft 2. That's kind of sad. I remember really enjoying draft 3 last year because it was just such a nice respite from having to like think too hard. Anyway, let's get started on chapter 30 over here. Actually, hang on, I got some more research to do. I need information on alcohol tolerance. I'm not a drinker, so there's been issues with the alcohol consumption in this book where I'm like, I have no idea because I don't drink, so I have no point of reference for like how this works. I do know about alcohol intolerance or like building up your tolerance, right? So if you've been like a relatively heavy drinker, not to the point of alcoholism or something, but just like you can drink a lot before you're gonna be like down and out. That's what you used to do. Now it's been like 2 or 3 months and you've maybe had like a drink here and there, but you really have not drunk much of anything at all. Like, what does that do to your tolerance? Like, how do you Google something like that? I don't even know. Like, I can't type all that into Google. So you guys tell me. How fast does your alcohol tolerance fade if you don't continue feeding yourself alcohol? No idea. Then I also need to know, they're in a gambling place for this scene. Did they use actual money? Are people throwing like pound notes on the table? Or did they have chips? Like a poker chip, you know? Like we used in modern casinos or whatever. Did they have chips? I feel like if I Google, did they have chips in Regency, England, it's gonna not tell me the... So let me do some searching and see what I can find out about these random things for this one scene. Okay, let's do that first. Okay, Okay, so this chapter is done. It was pretty short and I really didn't have a whole lot to change in it. It's only about 1,200 words, but I don't know that it needs to be that much longer. I also realized that at some point I have miscounted and this is actually chapter 29, not 30. I think with like deleting scenes, it got messed up, but I thought I had accounted for that. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. So 29 is now done. Previously chapter 30, but now we're going to go on to chapter 30 for real, which is the scene we need to delete. So yeah, let me read through this one. I don't think like the whole setup for this chapter is completely irrelevant, just like that other one where it was like this doesn't work at all. I'm gonna pull out any little pieces that I could maybe use somewhere, like if there's a description of something, I don't know. Yeah, so let me go through this real quick and then we'll move on to the next pair, which is where I have to actually do some writing. Oh my gosh, like I have to draft a whole new scene. Ugh. I'm so good. Okay, tell me if this is something you struggle with. First drafting, I am churning through the words, okay? If you've watched me during NaNoWriMo, if you watched me back in, when did I write this? In April? Like, I'm moving, okay? 2,000 words a day, not a problem. Let's go. Like, I can do it, no problem. When I have to draft a new scene in the middle of revisions, it is the most painful thing ever. I don't know why. I guess, I don't know if you're just like, if I get into like that first draft flow and I'm just like schmoving through it and it's not a problem. And then you hit these, I've got to do this and I don't want to. It's just the worst. I don't know why. Almost never can I get into some sort of like actual flow and be like, okay, 2,000 word scene done in like 2 hours, no problem. Never. I cannot. So I have 2 new scenes to write for this act. The next little stretch of this act is going to be challenging. But there's no way to avoid it. We just got to do it. So let's see what I've got going on here and then we'll go on into this new scene. Except I'm so sorry, real quick. Look at this dog. Look at her little face. Oh, she's having a good time. Oh my gosh, she's so cute. Look at her. Passed out. All right, here we are in this freaking new scene. I have to sort of write like some of this. Okay. Some of one of these scenes I think can be used in this new scene I'm gonna write, but I need maybe it's 2 scenes. I don't know. Maybe it's 2, maybe it's 3. I have a lot of work to do. For this first section I need to write. Let's just focus on that and not worry about how it fits in with other stuff yet. The first section I need to write, my heroine is going to find out maybe new information. She's gonna get, okay, here's my thing. There's a piece of information that is supposed to be a little bit of a twist, like a plot twist kind of thing. It would make sense to put a plot twist at this point because this information is going to eventually lead her to figure out a solution for one of the problems that we have at the moment. I need to figure out why this information would not have been shared with her sooner. And if it is shared with her now, why is it being shared with her now? But if she learns the information earlier, there's a specific scene I know, like it would be obvious to include the information there. If she learns it at that point, I don't know. Like, I don't know how that messes up the flow of the story. It would still be a plot twist, or I don't know if it would be a plot twist. It would just be like, oh my gosh, that's a weird thing to have happen. Wow. Imagine that. And then she uses the information later to like figure stuff out. I don't know. I'm gonna write it for the moment like she's finding out the information in this scene. Hopefully when I start writing, it'll just like appear in my brain about why she's being given this info now as opposed to earlier. It's 2 o'clock. For me, that's getting kind of late in the afternoon in terms of being able to focus and concentrate and stuff. That's so sad, but it is what it is. Let me see if I can get through this first part of this scene slash chapter slash part of a chapter. I don't know what this is. Let me see if I can write something. Let's do that. All right. I haven't gotten very far. I got distracted researching what do footmen do and what varieties of primroses are there. So that was a good use of my time. It's about 2:30. I'm just gonna pause. I don't know. Pause for now, for sure. And I might come back a little later this afternoon, evening, and do some more. But I'm just like tired. I'm gonna try to finish up this scene tomorrow for sure. All of this rewriting new stuff. I think that'll be good. So I'll see you here tomorrow to see how far I can realistically get. Hello, it's almost 9:30. Oh my gosh. I was trying to like get ready super fast to like be able to sit down early. But then I ended up filming an opening clip for Querying Chronicles number 3. So be looking for that at some point in the next couple weeks. My big goal for today, I need to finish writing this new scene. It could be one scene, it might be 2 scenes or 3 scenes, I don't know. But there's like a chunk that I need to get through to then connect with the next scene that's a little more like I just need to revise it instead of rewrite the entire thing. So that's the goal for today. That'll put us a good ways into Act 4 and a good deal closer to being finished. So let's get going. All right, it's 11:30. We've been working for a little minute and a half over here. I've done the intro portion and now I've gotten into a section where it's like I can reuse some things from one of the previous chapters / scenes. I don't even know what like number it was originally, but it doesn't matter. Some of this needs to change in terms of what's being discussed between 2 of the characters. But some of it I can reuse. I'm working through that. It'd be awesome if I could finish this by noon in time for lunch. That might not be realistic. We'll see. It's very rough. We'll smooth it out later, I guess. Because I'm not smoothing it out today. I'm just trying to get it done. Just trying to put the pieces there. We'll link them up to later. So yeah, let me keep working on this. And I'll let you know how far I've gotten by noon. All right. This thing is 2,400 words long. It's absolutely missing some details. I'm gonna take a break for lunch. It's almost noon and I'll go back through this after lunch because there's stuff that's like I didn't connect it the right way. We'll come back after we've fed our brain. You know what it is. Fried rice time, baby. Yeah. Also leftover chips and salsa because these go together incredibly well. I ate my lunch, and because I'm an adult and I can do whatever I want, I had ice cream as a reward for finishing my fried rice and chips and salsa. I felt like I earned it. Let's reread, well, that's YouTube, just to pull up music to listen to, not because anything else. But yeah, I'm going to pull up some tunes, but not anything super engaging or I won't do the work. I'll just listen to the tunes. And we'll pull up that last chapter. And we'll go through it again. I'm hoping I can be done in an hour because in an hour it'll be after 2 o'clock. Yes, I took a little bit long of a lunch break. Just leave me alone, okay? Let's do some work. I wish I was the kind of person who could go to like coffee shops and like do that because I feel like I would do work because I'd be like, oh my gosh, everyone is watching me they're not, but I would be like, oh my gosh, everyone's obviously watching me and judging me based on the amount of work I'm doing, which they will clearly be able to tell by how quickly my fingers are moving over the keyboard. Because I feel like I would get a lot of work done based on the assumed judgment I feel from the other people at the coffee shop. What is wrong with me? Okay, I'm gonna get to work over here. What should I listen to? I'm gonna reread this whole thing. I'm gonna fix it even more than I already did, and then I'm gonna be done for today. This is just a really quick little break to tell you that I thought of a really cute line for the beginning of the next book in this series. Okay, back to it. Okay, I'm done for today. It's 2:40. Don't talk to me about it. Okay, it's late. It took me forever. I went through it again. I changed some stuff. It's better. I think I could probably go through like the last 500 words of it and fiddle with it a little more, but I'm fried for today. So, as you're watching this vlog, I will be filming the one for the long weekend. So if you want to know if I'm able to finish Act 4/Draft 2 by the end of the July 4th weekend, you'll have to come back to see if I manage it. But for this vlog, I'm definitely finished. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, you can click the subscribe button. I usually post videos on Fridays. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.